and what came of the evaluation?
Yeah, he was. He was able to do a little bit more, which was it's a positive sign. We still have to wait to see how he responds. I think we have to just be cautious with him. But it's good to see him out there doing a little extra shooting, moving a little better, getting involved a little bit more in practice each day. So we'll wait to see how he looks and go forth. But there is no real aggressive timeline with that. When we deem he's ready, I think it'll be safe to say to put him out there, but I don't want to rush it. I certainly don't want to have any setbacks.
Any more clarity on his status for tomorrow?
I'd still list him as day to day, and hopefully we'll get a good response. And he's moving in the favorable direction. I don't want to paint myself into a corner and say no, he's not going to play with the hope he could, but we'll just wait and see.
And just to clarify, doing more today, does that mean 3-on-3 or did he not?
Well, we didn't do a ton of competitive stuff today after last night, but he was involved more in practice.
If he's out there at the 4, it's conceivable that Kyle would move down to the 3. How would Kyle's responsibilities generally change?
I wouldn't think they would change much. I think he's a versatile defender. So, guarding 1, 2s, 3s, 4s, he's done that all year. We've been switching quite a bit with those, mid-sized guys, him, Deni, Rui. So defensively, it doesn't really change much. Now, offensively, it puts him in a slightly different position, but it's not dramatically different than what he's been doing. We've used him in a lot of different spots, him at the 5, him at the 4. So I think he'll be comfortable if and when that happens. And I think him at the 4 with KP at 5, is probable as well. So it doesn't change much for him in that regard. But I think his versatility, his flexibility with his skill set allows him to, move from position to position seamlessly.
You coached Ish on prior occasions too. So what impact has he made since he returned here this time?
Well, I think he's got a connection, not only to the organization, but to a number of guys in the locker room on a personal level. He's played with those guys. And they know he's going to play with pace. He's going to push the ball, the early attack and probe. He's going to generate some easy offense for him. He's a pest on defense, I think they know that. But just his energy, his positivity in the locker room, he's upbeat. He's a galvanizing force in that regard, which I think is a great sign for this group.
His peskiness. How does that manifest itself? In what ways what areas is he effective?
Well, he's kind of a gnat where you just, you can't shake him. He's always in the right spot. He's very handsy. He's got the quickness to stay in front of guys. And a lot of times because of his stature, teams think that they can go at him. But he's played against that his whole life. So he's accustomed to teams want to go under and disregard him as a shooter. He's played against that. So I think he has a good feel for not only his own game, but how his game suits how we want to play. And defensively, he gives effort. He's going to be relentless pursuing the ball and being a pest. I think that just changes the complexion of that group.
Kristaps said that once he suffered the injury in Dallas, they did testing. I don't know whether it was MRI or X-ray, but they kind of determined that it wasn't all that serious. Have you guys done your own round of imaging or testing to get your own read on it?
Yeah, and I think it's with the bone bruise. It's one of those things where, and I asked this question specifically. Well, how long is it? And it ranges depending on the severity. It could be weeks. It could be a couple of months. There's just no way to tell. Beyond the pain threshold. There's certain movements that are, affect him different than others. And we just want to make sure that he's in a good place physically before you throw him out there in 5-on-5 situations.
Maybe a bit of a softball question, but just want to ask about cross-matching. You mentioned it yesterday, and you just mentioned a little bit of it right now, but you've had Rui play 5 on defense, 4 on offense at times. What are the benefits of cross-matching?
Well, I think you got to look at it from, different sides. Where defensively, his physicality, his size, you can match with, certain bigs. You're not worried about, mismatching the post. They want to play through a big in the post. You feel pretty confident he can guard one-on-one. You know, at times we've downsized and he's playing the 4, and you can continue to switch, you know, 1 through 4, and he's able to keep those smalls in front. So I think it gives you, once again, the flexibility to, you know, pick and choose, you know, how you want to match and take away a strength maybe of your opponent. You know, the team is a very dynamic pick and roll team. Put size on the ball, put size obviously on the screener, and you switch. So it kind of negates the advantage of a roller, and them spacing the floor, them putting pressure on the rim, you having to tag and close out, which opens up threes, it opens up driving lanes. So you kind of negate all that by keeping bodies in front of bodies. You know, on offense, you know, he's been pretty consistently at the 4. So, you know, whereas he understands both now, where he can say, all right, well, defensively, I understand my coverage, and offensively, I know my spots at the 4. So it helps, you know, I think his focus, there's less indecision about where he needs to be. And hopefully that helps his consistency on offense.
On offense, is he strictly more playing 4 at times? Does he play the 5?
Well, we saw that against Brooklyn, you know, and just because of the matchup he had, you know, they wanted to guard him with Marcus Aldridge. So we kind of moved him to the 5 spot on offense, you know, kept it simple, kept him in pick and rolls, and it was effective. So there's, you know, there's once again, an, you know, opportunity to kind of twist it a little bit and target the matchup you like, and keeping those defenders in the action.
How would you assess your team's rebounding? I think you guys, you know, did great in the beginning, but maybe overall this season it's a little bit below average compared to the league.
Yeah, I think we're 16th or 17th overall in rebound percentage. So it's not awful. You know, and that's one thing we keep in mind when we downsize. You know, it's also an issue at times when you switch. But we spoke about it at length. It's not a one guy thing. It can't be. It's not always on your 5s. It's an overall mindset where, you know, you can test shots, you can't leak out. You know, if there's a small down there and you switched and there's a size disadvantage, somebody else has to hunt and get in the mix and, you know, get some of those loose balls, the tap outs, all those things are, you know, come into play. But I think it's just an overall hit first mentality that we just have to have. We've had it at times, and I think it's easy when you play solid defense. And that's just the last piece. You got to make sure you come up with a gang rebound.
The importance of getting back on defense, is it correct to characterize your philosophy as you're not so concerned about your offensive rebounding percentage? In other words, it's the defensive rebounding percentage that you're more.
Then the overall rebounding percentage and the defensive rebounding percentage. I mean, it's an area that I think we can get subtly better. Some guys have a strength, a knack for it, have a nose for the ball, have the ability to you know, go get it physically. But I would forego crashing the offensive glass. You know, I certainly don't want to do that at the expense of our transition defense.
What is the rule you have? Is it if you know you can definitely get it, go get it? Or
Yeah, I mean, we have some rules in place. I mean, they're pretty simple. You know, in a vacuum, you know, you want your smalls to get back on the raise of the shot. It doesn't always happen. The spacing's always, it can always change. Your bigs, you know, your 4s and 5 have a license to go, but if they're outside the paint or, you know, above the 3-point line, obviously you don't want to come careening in. That ball goes over your head. It's the first pass to a fast break. So just being mindful of, you know, where the shot is taken. You know, long shot, long rebound. So some guys have a better feel for it, but I think the priority is to get back and make sure we're getting our defense set. I think when we do that, we have a best chance to minimize teams offensively.
Given the increase in 3-point attempts, has the dynamics of rebounding and how you coach it changed? One of the things that has changed the most since you got into coaching?
I don't know if that's one of the things that's changed. The volume of threes, obviously. The types of threes has changed dramatically. A lot of guys are shooting them off the bounce, which, you know, years ago was catch and shoot. It may have been off pin downs, but, you know, the volume of, you know, pull-up threes. But that doesn't change anything defensively. I mean, from a rebounding perspective, it's just a mindset where a lot of long shots, there's going to be a lot of long rebounds. So, and I think you have to fight that temptation to ball watch. And it's not just unique to us or any other team. I've seen it year after year. It's just bad habits where guys have been athletic enough to make plays. They don't see the value in necessarily turning, finding a body and initiating contact to negate any offensive rebounds.
And Coos said that last night you guys kind of, I guess, had sort of a mock game, right, with refs.
Mhm.
How was that structured? Was it like you coaching against Pat Delaney, or just like, I guess, how did you guys split up and have two teams?
Well, we just mixed the teams. You know, it was good just to change it up. The priority for us was just to blow it out a little bit, get our wind back, get up and down, be competitive, have good energy on the floor. It was less about, you know, schematics and more just getting up and down. The officials I thought were great. Guys going to complain, and that's what they do. So had an assistant coach each team, and just let them play.
What concerns you about tomorrow night's opponent?
A lot of things.
Technical.
Now, you know, they're a very aggressive downhill team. You know, they do a great job of that 0.5 mentality. You know, we've talked about it. They make quick decisions and move from one action to the next. So our ability to contain, keep guys in front, keep them out of the paint. They're not a volume 3-point shooting team, but they're effective. So the paint has to be the priority. And with that, the pick and roll. And then, you know, Murray and pick and roll is a problem. So we're going to have to mix up coverages, give them different levels, you know, to keep him off balance a bit. But keeping him under control, I think, would really help us.
All right, Coach, let's transition over to Zoom. We'll start with Peeny.
Thank you. Hey, Coach. With the upcoming integration of KP in the lineup, how would it influence Kuz, Deni, and Rui?
Oh, I think it'd be a good influence. You know, I think once again, the spatial dynamic that he brings, his ability to pick and pop, it's going to stretch the defense even more. It's going to open up the floor for those driving lanes, more driving kicks. You know, allows our bigs, whether he's rolling at the 5 or whether he's at the 4 and he's spacing. You know, it's going to put a lot more pressure on weak side defenders. You know, they have to take account for the role, but also know we've got more shooting on the floor. So it's a 2-pronged attack. I think it's a great opportunity to you know, play in space, but I think it does put a lot of pressure on the defense.
Thank you.
We'll go to Neil.
Hey, Coach. Kuz always says, you know, the right thing about, okay, it's about playing the right way basketball-wise, not necessarily him forcing the issue, but for him now as one of your, you know, top scoring options, do you ever have to encourage him to be more aggressive, or does he play that fine line well?
No, he's always aggressive, which, you know, I don't mind. And, you know, the only thing that I, you know, have to kind of make sure he understands is there's purpose with your aggression. You know, at times you can get out of control and turnovers, and it's not necessarily turnovers from a selfish standpoint. He's trying to make a play, but sometimes that lends to playing in a crowd or trying to do too much. So I think it's a good balance. And for the most part, he's done a terrific job for us. But, you know, minimizing the unforced errors, and that's going to be key for us as a group. You know, not just him, but collectively valuing each possession, make sure we get a good look at it. And that will help, hopefully, our floor balance and our overall defense.
And obviously a small sample size, but he's had the ball in his hands more often, you know, past few games. What have been some of your, you know, early thoughts on that?
Well, we've seen it, I think, all year. And I know this is a small sample as of late, but we've been short on bodies throughout this season. You know, with guys being out or with the COVID, you know, epidemic we kind of went through. So we've seen it. And I think, you know, overall, he's done a really good job. You know, I just think being mindful of time and score, you know, picking your spots, when to be aggressive, you know, when to find your teammates, make plays for others. But he's done a terrific job of rebounding the ball. And if you do that, we get stops, rebound, you get a license to run. You know, the responsible part is being accountable, you know, when we do run and taking care of it, make sure we value it and make sure we get a great look at it.
Thanks, Coach.
And we'll finish up with Christos.
Hey, Coach. Hope you're doing well. The second half of the season starts tomorrow. How important for you is to start that second half with a win over the Spurs tomorrow?
Well, I think it'd be great. Obviously, we want to get off on the right foot. But I think our guys understand the urgency in which we have to approach these last 24. We talked about the compression of the season, and you know, these opponents, with 24 games in 46 days, it's pretty stiff. So it's not a lot of wiggle room to think we can just ease our way into it. We have to attack this with the right mindset. But it's a challenge because they're a very well coached team. They're disciplined. They're very aggressive. So it's going to be a challenge for us tomorrow to make sure we approach it and continue to move and share the ball the way we have, but also defensively continue to see an uptick in that area.
And also with the trades, with the moves that you made, what did you see in the last games, and what do you expect to see in the second half with KP on the floor as well?
Well, I'm excited to see it. I mean, obviously, we haven't had a chance to see it in real time, but once again, the spatial dynamic that he'll bring, the shooting. I think he's a better defender than he's given credit for. Shot blocking, rim protection. Using him as a roller. He does a great job of finishing in the paint. So it's a multi-pronged, whether he's catching in the paint and spraying the shooters, whether he's the benefactor of spacing the floor, posting him to play make, posting him to score. So it gives us a lot of flexibility with, his skill set. But overall, I think it's important that, once again, he get healthy and we can get the best version of him.
Thank you very much, Coach.
All right, that's it, Coach. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
How was your All-Star break?
It was short. It was short. Good time to recharge, have some fun. I came here early, 2 days, 3 days before we start practicing, just to get my sharpness back, get back in shape a little bit. I take it really seriously. I'm excited for the second half of the season, and hopefully we can do great things and get where we belong. So
It was short, you say, but it was also your first.
it was short. It was short for me.
Yeah.
So I don't know about the other guys. They all had their own plans. I just kept it short.
What do you kind of see these last 24 games as, and kind of what are you hopeful for and excited for?
I mean, everything is open. Those 24 games, we got a lot of back-to-backs coming, a lot of games coming in a short period of time. I think we just need to be focused. I mean, we need our last pieces to come along, KP, to come back and participate with us. And I'm excited, man. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna have a lot of competition, but I think we're a great team. I think we're a good team.
Deni, what areas of progress are you happy with that you've made individually so far this season?
Just being more aggressive. I mean, I can look at the game in Brooklyn and say, I started 0 for 5 and be like, I think the old Deni will be like, all right, I'm not going to take as many shots. I'm not going to be as aggressive. And I think it didn't get into my mind. I think as a team, we felt good out there. I felt good. I felt confident. I felt that I need to be more aggressive and create for others. And that's exactly what I did. We played together. The ball was moving. And it's a big shout out to my teammates, and just keep going.
Given that you're only 22 years old.
21.
Oh, excuse me. You just turned 22.
Yes.
I apologize.
You good?
It's funny to hear yourself say the old Deni.
Kinda, but I'm saying the old Deni because I grow every day. I mean, I learn something new every day. I mean, in practice, I'm learning every day, and I see myself better and better. So me saying the old Deni, it's I feel good saying that because I know how much I progressed and how much I came along. So it feels good.
How important are learning your shooting spots on the floor? How important is that?
I'm still figuring it out. It's important, I think when you mature and you have more time in the league, I think your spots, where you want to go or what areas you're better shooting from, but it just come naturally. I don't really think about I'm hopefully I want to take good shots. If I feel like it's a good shot, no matter where it's from, I'm gonna shoot it without even overthinking it. But if the ball is in your hands, you're dribbling out, you know you need to hit that game winner, hit that big shot. Yeah, you know you need to know your spots. So I mean, this is just more experience than anything. So
I understand there's some players in the league that
Mhm.
know their spots so well that like they don't even
Definitely.
have to see the basket to score.
Definitely.
Have you experienced that? And anyone come
Oh,
to mind?
definitely.
Kuzma said, Kyle said that like DeMar DeRozan.
Yeah, that's the first name it got into my mind. I was about to say that. DeMar is really good at it, but there's a lot of good players that like I think that the elite players know their spots. Not even their spots, like their signature move, you know? Like they know what they want to get to. Everybody know what they're gonna get, like what they're gonna try to do, and you still can't stop it. So
What do you think about the chemistry that's developing between you and Colin, Rui, and you guys, all three of you guys are out there at the same time?
I think it's great. I think one game when we first did it, we were like, damn, like we can switch, like all of us. It's a crazy advantage. Like having me, Rui, and Kuz on the floor together, it's a crazy advantage. Like everybody got their own skill set, their own things that they're good at. We all complete each other, and I feel like it's a big asset for the team. And I mean, hopefully we can play together more and do some better stuff.
In practice, at the end of practice, you and Coach Delaney, you were doing like soccer juggling.
Yeah.
Soccer ball. Like, what's your record? How many can you do? And like, how much soccer did you play? And how has that footwork helped you?
So that's a great question. Nobody ever asked me that. I started as a soccer player. I mean, people underestimate like because I'm tall now, but I was good growing up, and like I tried different sports like everybody. And I was really fast when I was young, so I had good coordination with my feet too. So it really helped me grow up. Even when I grew to 6'9", 6'8", it helped me to save my footwork, save my speed, and I miss soccer a little bit. But if I had a chance to like teach the guys or dribble it out, sometimes I'll do it. But I became better because I forgot how to play soccer. Like I didn't do it for so long, but it's coming back to me.
Who's a better soccer player, you or how old?
Come on, man. Well, that's that. He's Brazilian. It doesn't mean like he's better than me, man. We got good players in Israel too, you know.
He said he was pretty good.
No, he's solid. I never seen him though. Like you know, like he never really juggled the ball like that.
Yeah.
In terms of applying it to basketball skills, though, like where do you feel like the footwork really helps? Is it like moving in tight spaces or changing directions? Or?
I can say changing direction. Changing direction, maybe yeah, tight spaces. You don't really like I don't really see an obvious spot. It's just like all in general, you feel like I feel really light in my legs. So thank you.
Christos?
Hey, Deni, how are you?
How you doing?
I'm fine, thank you very much. Deni, what are your priorities and what do you expect to see from your team in the second half of the season?
Just the effort. I mean, we're 24 games left. Just the effort. Staying together no matter if we lose. We're gonna lose some games, obviously. Just stay together. Stay connected, keep sharing the ball, keep our focus, keep our energy. And that's the money time right now. So just we're going for it, you know.
And you prove it both in Europe and during your stress in Washington Wizards that you're not afraid to take responsibilities to make a step up. How important for you is to make a step up in the second half of the season and play alongside Rui, alongside KP? How you vision that?
I think it's big. I think we all together need to step up. Everybody. I mean, we got our best player out with Bradley, and everybody need to take more responsibility. I need to step it up. Everybody got to step it up. I mean, we're short, so we just need to play hard. Everybody needs to know his role and just play. In the end of the day, it's basketball. You don't really need to overthink it. I think everybody here are great players. We just need to keep play together. So
Thank you
there's-
very much.
Thank you.
Penny?
Hey guys, switching to Hebrew, please. אהלן דני, מה העניינים?
אהלן פיני.
האמת שטיפה לקחו לי פה טיפה דיברת על זה לפני כן, משהו שרציתי לדבר איתך עליו, במשחק נגד ברוקלין, רוצה לקחת אותך אליו, פתחת עם 0 מ-5, פתחת פחות טוב, ואז היה איזשהו סוויץ' שראינו איזשהו מימד של, הוא באמת בגרות מנטלית, אז תקח אותי קצת למיינדסט של הראש שלך, גם העונה הזאת, גם בכלליות, בהשוואה לעונת הרוקי, כאילו מבחינת החשיבה.
וואו, זה חתיכת נושא לפתוח, אבל...
בשביל זה אנחנו פה, לא?
כן, אני לא יודע, אבל אם אתה יודע, אני לא רוצה לעשות את זה, זה כבר עכשיו יותר חומר לפודקאסט, אבל אני אנסה לענות על זה בקצרה. אני מרגיש את הבגרות כאילו מגיעה לסיפור הזה, אני מרגיש כאילו שאני מרגיש גם שחקן יותר טוב ביכולות שלי, ואני יודע שיש לי את היכולות כאילו כן להיות אגרסיבי וכן לעשות כל מיני תנועות שאני לרוב לא עושה. כל מה שכאילו צריך זה לדעתי סבלנות, זאת אומרת אני עובד על הדברים האלה, אני כן רוצה לעשות יותר, אתה יודע, לפעמים פחות הולך לי כמו שהלך לי במשחק נגד ברוקלין, אבל אני מרגיש יותר בוגר, אני מרגיש כאילו שאני יותר אגרסיבי, שזה פחות משפיע עליי, פעם כאילו הייתי באמת מתעצבן או קצת נדחק הצידה, אבל גם במיוחד בסגל של היום, שאתה יודע, יש לך יותר הזדמנויות בהתקפה ויותר הזדמנויות להיות עם הכדור, אני באמת מרגיש נהדר, גם לדחוף את הכדור קדימה, גם לייצר לעצמי, לייצר לאחרים. זה מרגיש טוב, אני מרגיש שסומכים עליי גם השחקנים, גם המאמנים, ואתה יודע שנותנים לך את הביטחון ואתה גם מרגיש יותר בוגר ואתה יודע שיש לך את היכולות האלה ועשית את זה בעבר, אז השמיים הם הגבול.
יש איזושהי תחושה של רוח חדשה באמת אחרי הדדליין? איך התחושה בקבוצה?
אפשר להגיד, כן, אחלה חבר'ה, כולם באותו ראש, אתה יודע, אין אצלנו אנרגיות שליליות, אנחנו נורא חיובים אחד לשני, כל אחד מרים את השני, אנחנו הרבה יותר מדברים, הרבה יותר ווקאליים, וזה חשוב.
ואיך אתה מרגיש פיזית? כי באמת הייתם אחרי תקופה מטורפת, לקחת איזה שבוע קצת חופש, או לא חופש, אני לא יודע, תגיד לי אתה.
לא לקחתי הרבה זמן חופשי, כי אני רוצה להישאר מרוכז, ואני רוצה להישאר בקצב ובכושר שאני נמצא עד סוף העונה, ובאמת לעשות קפיצות אפילו יותר גדולות, ואני חושב שאני מסוגל לזה. אתה יודע, בשביל להישאר חד, ואתה יודע, להישאר עם רגליים על הקרקע, אז עשיתי את החופש שאני צריך, יומיים שלושה, ואת השלושה ימים האחרים באמת שילבתי עבודה, זאת אומרת שאתה יודע, גם יש לך את הזמן ליהנות, וגם יש לך את הזמן כאילו לשמור על החדות ובאמת להיות מקצוען, ואני מחכה לחצי השני.
אחלה, תודה.
תודה.
Thank you guys.
I heard we're having 3
Thanks,
more nights
Deni.
in March.
That's it?
Yep, you're good.
Thank you.